still things to discuss. We were on about maybe doing prizes, didn't we, Dan? But
Yeah.
we've only sort of floated the idea of prizes.
I mean, we can always add you into the conversation with Paul Williams, because it's kind of like his idea as such, and we're kind of just like, okay, we'll come up with something and we'll put something together. So
it's his event. He's just wanting us to host it and run it for him, sort of thing.
yeah.
I think the platform we have now, it's going to be more attractive than what we did when we did the previous one on Project Cars 2. It'll be sort of mid-afternoon Saturday into mid-afternoon Sunday, giving people Sunday night and then Monday to recover. Yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
Sweet. We will be doing, we'll be promoting that tonight. We got quite a bit to well, I've got quite a bit to, talk about. Obviously, Pro-Am's fucking stacked as well. We got possibly 40 cars in that.
No, not yet. Right.
22 gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fucking, without having a look at the driver info, I can't tell you. Right. Was this one? Right, okay, that's fine. So there's no rush to get you in for tomorrow then. Yeah.
22. I can't see in Pro-Am. Yeah, I can. Matthew Sturrock. He's a reserve as well. Matthew Sturrock. We could arguably say that you're a Patreon when you're not. You are a sponsor, so. Fucking hell. Right, I think we should
top
pop
7
in.
covered by 0.3 of a second.
Top 12.
Oh, Kelly, just to give you an indication, you don't get a little triangle like you did on Project Cars 2 when battles are close anymore. So just keep an eye on the times.
And the times update every sector.
Yeah, so if there's a gap between drivers where there's no time, that driver behind hasn't crossed the sector yet.
Janetta's looking very popular this season. Yes. Right. Shall we head to the com box, shall we? All right, Matt. Best of luck. Have fun.
Yeah, cheers,
and
man.
remember,
I'll try to enjoy it.
Remember, it's a learning process.
Yeah, it's a learning curve. I'm not looking to win the race. I'm not looking to get a podium. I'm looking to just do well.
He's got no racing line. He's hampered.
Everybody's got it off.
It's now mandatory. Like when you join the server, it doesn't appear, so everyone has to race without it.
So I've been doing a lot of more testing than I normally would. Thanks, Kelly.
Best of luck,
Brad's
Matt.
finally be at nappies. Yeah, cheers, man. Kelly,
I'll go set up the other pie.
I'll see you on the podium. Yes! Hey! Oh, brings a tear to
Okay.
my eye.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, you? Oh, fucking hell. Work? All right. Everything okay? Yeah. Yeah. Fucking hell. So a bit of this will help. Well, a bit of this will help distract you. Fucking, you've got a very, very busy Thursday night. I don't think I have a chance of winning the title, personally. The Porsche is holding me back. I will try my absolute hardest, but it is holding me back. The back end is just always loose. Change what? Remember, it's keyboard. Oh, okay. So, right, go to with the controller. Go up to options. Not with the controller. Is the steering wheel plugged in? Is it? Yeah, but not very well. Is the steering wheel plugged in? Hello? I can now, yeah.
Yeah, I can't control anything on my steering wheel now. When I switch my controller on, it seems to cancel out my headset.
Right. Okay. So you're having to use the steering wheel and pedal to change cameras. I can now. So you can't do anything with the wheel now.
Apart from press the PlayStation button. Hang on, let's try switching my controller on again.
I can hear you, yeah. Okay, close the game and open it again. Well, the game. I've got my wheel unplugged so that I can use the controller, because when you have a wheel plugged in, it recognizes the wheel as the primary choice. Sometimes as well, if you can't collect any of the options, it's probably set to like wheel or controller. If you do that, then you'll have to use the steering wheel throughout the whole thing.
Well, that's fine, as long as it
Yep.
plays ball. See if it plays ball. So what would I have to do? Disconnect steering wheel?
Yeah, just unplug it. And then it'll go, and then it will just make the controller the primary thing. I always used to put it as the front one, and then you can.
I used to have it as a front one, but since I've moved into this room, I thought, wow, we'll always have it plugged in, so don't worry about it.
Oh God. What did you type in? How did you spell it? Did you put a capital P?
No.
Try that. What, yeah, all.
I'm on all.
Yeah.
GT3.
Prioritize. Is there a button that says like prioritized or something like that? It should have. You should have all because it should just be GT4, and it should then. That should be it, really. You shouldn't.
Click all, server type all.
Yeah. Refresh.
Oh, it should be on it. Got it. Accessibility.
Yes.
Fuck's sake. Access.
Mhm.
Now got to work out what's happening there.
Just remember, don't click drive. It's easily done. If anything, just press pause, return to garage.
Okay.
Yep, all good. All working fine.
Yeah. And yeah.
Sweet. Cool.
Oh, cloud. Put that back end away.
Okay. Are you ready?
As ready as I'm going to be, Dan.
Alright, okay. Right, we're about to go live, okay?
Okay.
And 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long time coming, but we are back live here at Simplay Motorsport, and we're going to bring you all the action for the GT4 Championship. My name is Dan Davis, and joining me in the commentary box for this special event is my father and excellent co-commentator and going to be your pro commentator for the season, Kelly Davis. Dad, Kelly, welcome to the commentary box. It's been a while. It's been a long time. But we're finally back. We're back racing here at Simplay for a really exciting season ahead.
Yes, it is good to be back, Dan, and welcome to everybody. Welcome along. Combox has had a lick of paint and a new piece of carpet. It's lovely in here, really comfortable. It's great to be back in the comms box, Dan.
It is indeed, and hopefully I think everyone should be able to hear you. I need people in the chat to let me know if they can or can't hear you. Yeah, that would be nice. We might have to adjust and change some settings, but we will sort that out. But nonetheless, we are back live here for the GT4 Championship. They have returned, obviously, due to the popularity of the GT4s. They have come back for the new season, but we have a completely new format, and I'm just going to double check that I can hear Kelly. Otherwise, this will be a whole waste of time. Dad's super quiet. Okay, give me a few seconds. You can hear him though, yes? So that's the main thing. I will adjust his volume.
And that's PN on there saying he can't hear me, and Bob Brown saying super quiet.
Right, okay, I know what's going on here. So what we need to do is you need to allow your voice to be heard, basically. Right. We do need to do some PlayStation-y stuff, I'm afraid. Right. I've got to remember how to do this now.
Do you want to chit chat for a minute, and I'll have a go, see if I can work it out for myself. Allow my voice to be heard.
Yeah, basically. I think that's what you need. Yeah, it will be in either the settings or in the party settings. Should be able to adjust it there. But yeah, like I said, while Kelly tries to figure out what's going on there, he'll have to look at his settings and go through microphone possible settings and see if his voice is allowed to be heard with streaming. Yeah, the idea of the GT4 is they're back, they've returned, but sadly it will not be 3 races this season that we'll be doing in one night. Instead, the guys have voted for a 2-race format. We are bringing back the feature and the sprint here tonight for the GT4s. The ballast, though, is returning once again. So each driver, each season will be, each race will be giving a championship ballast, so weight to slow them down. Other than the GT3s, where we have a BOP introduced, where it's a balance of performance. But for these guys, if Kieran O'Reilly, example, as he's leading the way at the minute in the session, if he wins tonight and is on top of the tables, he will then carry into the next round 40 kilos worth of ballast, and that will work its way down. Like I said, as we got a sprint race to start off with, I believe, from what I can remember, we will have a 10-minute qualifying session for the first race. And this will be the only first qualifying session that these guys will have. Then into the main race, which is only 20 minutes, and a pit stop they must do as well. And then they'll have a little free practice session so that they can get themselves prepared and ready to go for the next qualifying session, which will only be 5 minutes. And that you think is, 5 minutes is enough? Not in these cases. It is a very, very short amount of time to get out and get one lap done pretty much. And that is that. And then they go into a feature race, which instead of an hour like the GT3s, they will have 45 minutes instead. And again, another pit stop is required. They have to stop for 25 seconds. Optional if they want to add tyres. That is an additional 5 seconds to it. But that is pretty much a rundown of this format here this season. I've got a whole new load of graphics and stuff that I'm going to be playing around with as well. And let's see how Kelly is getting on. Kelly, any luck? All a bit bad. Yes. So I'll be back in a few moments' time, guys, as I'll just try and figure this out with Kelly, and we'll be back with you momentarily with the qualifying sessions. I will leave, obviously, the race, the session on, so you guys can see what is going on. I'll be with you guys in a few moments' time. Okay, right. Okay. Set it back on the homepage, yeah?
Yeah, from the homepage.
Okay. Bloody PS5. Oh, fucking adverts. Voice chat setting. Right. Right. Okay. Got it. Press the middle button.
PlayStation button.
Yep.
Yeah.
Click on the party.
Yeah.
Yep. No. Party voice chat.
Party voice chat.
Yeah. Where it's got, where you press the PlayStation button,
Yeah.
it should pop up saying like party voice chat.
I've got the menu along the bottom. Am I pressing the wrong button?
Just You got the menu along the yeah. So where do you see where? Right. Okay. Yeah. On home, you see where there's the where it's mine and your logo. Yeah. It, yeah. Sorry. Go to game base. Sorry.
Game base.
Yes. Right. Go to the headphones.
Yes.
Click on the party.
Yes.
Go to more.
Yeah.
Voice and it said voice chat settings.
Settings. Yeah.
Yep, that should bring up, and it should say share your voice.
Yeah. And it's saying don't
Allow.
Changing to allow.
Yep.
Done.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet. That should have worked.
Right.
Right. Back to the game.
To it. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
We're in quali.
Yeah, we are. Why has that done that? Oh, fucking classic, man. Changing settings. Okay. And we are going live in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And sorry, we should be able to hear Kelly Davis now. Kelly, can we hear you loud and clear?
Well, I'm hoping we are, Daniel, after we did a bit of PlayStation stuff. Time moving on very quickly as well. Can we have a recognition from some people in the chat just to let them know that they can hear me nice and clearly now?
Yeah, I think it is, because I can see the sound bar working its way as you're talking. But we are live, we are back, and oh god, we managed to get things working here, ladies and gentlemen. At least it's ready for Kelly for the pro season. But yeah, just guys, let us know if you can hear Kelly loud and clear. We are here at Brands Hatch for the first race of the season, known as the British roller coaster. And just for you guys to see as well, a little overlay, loud and clear, they say. So lovely.
Thanks,
Lovely indeed.
Cheers,
so,
Bob.
We've got a little overlay here of Brands Hatch, the circuit, as I've just made this lovely thing throughout the week. Brands Hatch itself is the length circuit is 2.4 miles long, or 3.9 in kilometers. It's got 11 corners, 3 to the left, 8 to the right. Pole position will start on the right, and the ACC lap record for the GT3s is a 1 minute 21.9. You will definitely not be seeing that from the pros this week. The pro car, the quickest one here is probably the BMW M4 GT3. That's the lap time it's set, and the most successful drivers around this circuit is myself and Overtaker. So that's a quick rundown of the circuit. It's got some very famous corners as well, such as Druids, Dingledale, Sheen Curve, and obviously Graham Hill Bend. But Kelly, obviously we're going to fly into this as best we can. Brands Hatch, quick rundown of the circuit, opinions on it, and how these GT4s are going to get on this tonight, because we have got a lot of drivers here tonight.
My opinion of Brands in 2 sentences: love to watch, hate to drive. It's tricky track, it's quite narrow. Certainly the GP loop is uber tricky. You go into the first or the second right-hander at the far end of the track, and it's super slippy, very fast. And again, when you get to the top of the GP circuit, it's a blind right-hander, very, very tricky. Paddock Hill Bend, again, is where do you pick your braking point into turn 1? Yeah, always action at Brands. Love it to watch, not so keen to drive.
Indeed. And obviously with the caliber of drivers we have this season, obviously you know a few of them yourselves from Pro-Am. Obviously a lot of well-known pro drivers as well. But obviously the variety of GT4 cars, obviously you've had a chance to drive the Ginetta. This circuit was probably the best suited for the Ginetta. It's tight, it's twisty, not a lot of straights. It should really suit that type of car, should it not?
I would have said so, yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of overtaking opportunities, is there? And as you rightly said, it's known as the roller coaster, the British roller coaster of tracks. So, I mean, I'm watching Matt Duffin with Hubert right behind him, and there's no room to overtake. There's no room for error. So, yeah, it's fast and furious racing for sure. Did we race it last season? We didn't, did we?
We did not. No, it was not on the calendar.
No.
So it's its return.
Yeah, I can't say how the Ginetta was round here, to be honest. Have we got many Ginettas this year? Yes, we have, haven't we? Got a few.
Ginetta is the favourite car here as well.
Yeah.
So, definitely
Well,
one to keep an eye on.
it's not featuring in there. Well, I say it's not featuring. Seth is the first man with the Ginetta at the moment in 6th place, 6/10 off the ultimate pace. Andrews is in the wall as well, Paddock Hill Bend. So yeah, the Ginetta not showing its colours just yet. It's clouding up front, just been superseded by O'Reilly. So sounding like some favourites from last season will be towards the sharp end again this year, Dan.
Obviously, the man we need to keep an eye on is the defending champion himself, Matthew Duffin. Obviously, returning back once again to the GT4s in his Mercedes-Benz. Obviously, with the new rules as well, the guys, especially for the newer drivers, there's no racing line this season. The racing line has been turned off, so these guys will have to drive it as if it is real life. And for someone like Matthew Duffin, who has in the past relied on it, it's a whole new ball game for him, and obviously he's going to be looking into this season not to just develop as a driver, but also to see what he can do with that car and with the racing line off. But he is getting there. He has been practicing with it. Ones that we do need to keep an eye on is obviously Kieran O'Reilly. Last season, he was phenomenal in Pro when he was here, and obviously had wheel issues and sadly had to pull out for the rest of the season. He is back, his wheel is repaired, and he's not just looking good in his GT4s, he's looking incredibly quick in the GT3s as well.
The top four. Sorry, Dan. The top four, as it stands, is looking like the straight in from last year. Really, they're 4 very quick guys. We're going to have some momentous battles this year.
We are indeed. Obviously, we look at Will Friedman returning back into the Porsche. He was the championship contender with Matthew Duffin, but due to not able to make every race, he sadly lost out just at the end. But he has returned back in his Porsche, and we'll see what he can do while Tardok has gone fastest in his Porsche, and again, a new driver, new boy stepping in. He did turn up to our Audi fun event and won in the GT2 class and the overall class as well. So he has got pace with him as well. Jamal Clouden, a driver that you went wheel to wheel with, Kelly.
More than once, yeah. Me and Jamal went wheel to wheel more than once. I think he got fed up with seeing the back of my Ginetta, and it certainly wasn't because I was quicker than him. It was circumstances that ended up I was in front of him quite a lot, and I think he got fed up with the back of my Ginetta a few times.
Obviously, returning back in the Chevy Camaro. He's returning back in a Chevy Camaro, a bit of a beast of an he's had a moment. A bit of a beast. It's very soft, it's easy to take the curbs, but as we saw in our fun event, again, the V8 Supercar event, we saw that the Chevy Camaros could roll quite easily there, but nonetheless, he has returned back in that, and hopefully for a better season. Skunky. Skunky's back as well. He's changed car though this season. He's gone Mercedes.
Oh, has he really? Wow, he's whipped out of the Ginetta and gone for something with a bit of power down the straights. It's Skunky again. Went wheel to wheel with him a few times as he was more him trying to get past me. We had a bit of a titanic battle at Donny Park just at the last race of the season last year, and he's a contender for sure.
He is indeed, and obviously the other news that I forgot to mention as well, there is teams now in GT4, so there are teams fighting for the Constructors' Championship, and the strongest pairing from what I've seen in testing, Skunky and Will Friedman are both teammates in old school racing. That is going to be a phenomenal pairing.
Yeah, absolutely, and I hadn't realised that we were in teams as well. So, hey, there's only one team for the win, but we'll talk about that later, and I try not to be too biased.
A couple other familiar faces we'll get into. Ian McGowan has returned back once again in his Mercedes-Benz, and he's going to give it another crack. We've only got a minute left of qualifying, and at the minute it is Tardok fastest. But McGowan's back again in his Mercedes. Let's see what he can do tonight. Obviously, the Mercedes looking quite popular again.
Yeah, and it is looking quite popular and a favoured car by many. Again, McGowan was a real contender last year. He's quick, he's feisty, definitely going to take some race wins and be in there as one of the contenders for sure.
Indeed, and just behind him is Kieran O'Reilly, who has been looking quick in the practice session as McGowan comes to the line. He doesn't improve, nor does O'Reilly, but all these guys are getting their last laps in as well. Silth, a new driver in the Ginetta, coming in, and he'd look pretty quick in the server as well with the hot stints, and we'll see what he can do in this Ginetta. Not know much about him, and he's just been pipped by the Quadrum Motorsport driver of Matt Wright, and he's back once again, and he's gone Alpine this time round. A very different car. I don't think myself, Matt, or Kelly have really had much time in it. I've had a few laps in it. Yeah. I actually quite like this car. It's light, it's nimble, but it hasn't got the power like the Ginetta.
Yeah, it's it was on my short list. I drove it a couple of times, but couldn't quite get on with it like I could the Ginetta. But yeah, it's in the right hands. It's a great car. I've got nothing like enough time to talk about all the drivers. Got 34 drivers on the grid, Dan.
It is, yeah. I'm just obviously ranking up some of the top guys that we know, but that's just a quick rundown. And obviously, we got a new signing with Benjamin Rook signing for Team Audio Sport. I obviously had to bring him up eventually. But Ben, the youngster, he's gone.
Sorry, Dan. McGowan in the wall. Just give that Mercedes his first bashing of the evening. But yeah, sorry. Back to Ben. Part of the Team Audio Sport Young Driver Program.
He is part of the Team Young Driver Program for Team Audio Sport, and we'll see what he can do. He's currently 10th on the grid in a minute, and like I said, quite a competitive GT4 grid we have here tonight. Anyone in the KTM, not at the minute, as we hit return to garage.
KTM is a great car, but my word, it's slow in the straights.
It is indeed. Regarding the cars that we do have here tonight, we do have a Porsche, a McLaren. We have a few Mercedes and a Chevy Camaro. We have quite a few Alpines and the Aston Martin returning once again. One BMW. One BMW that I can see, and an Audi. One Audi on the grid. So we do have a variety, but obviously it's looking like Mercedes and the Ginetta is the favoured. Aston Martin also a very favoured car as well. So Kelly, we're going into the first race. 20-minute sprint. Obviously, you raced in the 20-minute sprints for these GT4s. Obviously, these guys will be going... the last time we were flat out. This time they do have a pit stop. Just get us in the mindset of just how chaos that this category can be.
Well, remembering, Dan, that you start on cold tyres as well in the GT4s, so that's a bit of a worry. You've got your warm-up lap, which you can generate heat into these tyres, but it is a worry going into turn one. Into the mindset, well, my mindset was normally I could have done better in qualifying, and, normally in the middle of the pack for me, so it was kind of sussing out who was around me, and you get to learn the characters around you and what they do and how they do it. So first race of the season, well, I'd be just trying to keep my nose clean, try and get into turn one through Paddock Hill Bend cleanly, really, but we're going to need some tyre warming, that's for certain, sure.
We will indeed, and we'll get a poll going as well for you guys in the chat. And also, while I have this opportunity, I will show you the calendar for this season. If I pop that up now. Obviously, first things first, we start here at Brands Hatch for the first round of the season. We start in Great Britain, and we will finish in Great Britain as well. Spa-Francorchamps is the second round of the season. While we then head to America, stateside for Indianapolis for our morning race. Then we head down under in Australia, Bathurst, Mount Panorama, always a challenge, and is going to be a big challenge this season as well. Round 6 of the season, we head to we head to the Great Britain. Round 5 of the season, we head back to the United Kingdom, where we head to Silverstone, the most iconic British circuit. And it's been a while since we've ran here, and it'd be nice to be back there at home. Round 6 of the season, we head to South Africa. Once again, Kyalami, a fan favourite, was voted the favourite circuit from last season. It is back once again. Round 7 is our first night race. We head to Imola, a very tricky circuit, and at night even more difficult. Round 8, we head to Germany for the Nürburgring, and then heading to Austria for the Red Bull Ring for our second and next night race of the season. We head to Britain once again, nearly a full season of British circuits, but we're just missing Snare. It is Autumn Park for the round 10 of the season, and we go stateside once again for Watkins Glen. And Donington Park has now also been appointed once every season on the calendar, as it is our home circuit. So Donington Park will either be starting the season or ending the season. What a calendar, Kelly.
Absolutely, I've signed up for a reserve in Pro-Am, and I will be doing a couple of those. I mean, there's some great tracks there in there. Spa is a classic. Bathurst, well, we know all about the mountain. Scares me after death. It's one of your favourites. Imola, I will be there for that one. Autumn Park, Watkins Glen is a roller coaster, and Donny, of course, as say, Donny is always a strong favourite. Of Matt nearly drops it on the formation lap.
Brilliant stuff. Up on the screen now is our Patreon support as well. So if you want to be a Patreon in the channel, this will allow you to reserve a race number, get priorities on events, and also track suggestions for future seasons and promos, and also your stream will be automatically shown. So have a look at that, and also have a look at our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. We'll get into them a little bit later on, as we're about to go 2x2 for the start of this brand new season. Kelly, prediction on race 1 winner?
Kieran O'Reilly.
He's going O'Reilly. I'm going to go Tardok. Guys, if you think otherwise, then put it in the chat. Let's see those thumbs up buttons. We're up to trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Help us get there. GT4s are back. It is Tardok versus O'Reilly on the front row of the grid. McLaren versus Porsche, as we now wait for the green light here at Brands Hatch. And we are green and go, and already we have a drive-through as we head up towards turn number 1 as the Porsche leads down into the dip. As up the inside goes Will Friedman. He looks to make the move past O'Reilly, and O'Reilly gives him the space, and Jamal Cloudon's right there as well as the leaders all work their way through turn number 1. But there's Wright. He's made contact with Friedman. I think, no, that is Skunky. They're both off, and there is absolute chaos at the hairpin.
Chaos at the back. Millington, Gary Leach was on the grass, came into the hairpin, but Millington was already round by that point, so they're trying to sort themselves out. Matt Wright, Skunky, all in there, all at the back at the moment, trying to point their cars in the right direction, let alone do anything else. Absolute chaos for them at the top of Druids as we continue now towards the middle sector. Still leading the way is Tardok, but he has got Will Friedman in the other Porsche ready to hunt him down as the top 5 all sticking to one another. Sills just dropping off the back of this group as well as they work their way through, but the timetable is trying to update as best they can. But Jamal Cloudon still hanging in there in the Chevy Camaro. This is going to be an intense fight as everyone else works their way through. So far, less drama down the pack. We had Sith all crossed up sideways as he was at the top of the GP circuit. They're all giving it maximum beans, but there's hardly a fag paper between the top 4 at the moment.
It is indeed, and O'Brien at the minute just struggling to keep Ramsell behind him, and Ben Rock as well just behind them. Hibbs is just on the back of them as well, and Cummings as well. McGowan's had to work his way up. Bardock is in 14th, and already we got a pitter there, as that is the Mercedes-Benz of, who was that? I can't see. Darren Bell. So he's pitted to do his drive-through instantly, but we go back to the front, and Tardok has got immense pressure from the top 5, and Will Friedman finishing off where he left off last season. He is really on the charge here.
Absolutely, and just a little bit further back, fight of the new boys. Hubert and Sith are very close company in 6th and 7th place, and they're not very far away from the leaders either, keeping good pace.
Keeping good pace indeed. Anything happened to the leaders, they're going to be back in the game, and already 1 lap done, and we are flying through this first race. But you can see there the McLaren so much stronger in a straight line than the Porsche, and O'Reilly right on the gearbox of that Porsche, or gearbox engine, everything of that Porsche. The McLaren really hustling it, giving the Beetle a hard time.
Giving the Beetle, the good old Beetle, we love the Beetle, but it is a bit of a mission to drive, isn't that right, Dan?
It is indeed, as Tardok there just going a little bit wide. Will Friedman, this is the problem though, Kelly. Obviously the British roller coaster, it is very tricky to overtake her. Tardok has gone wide ever so slightly, and Friedman is going to have a sniff an opportunity, but he waits patiently. He is a patient driver, and he will wait for his opportunity.
and his opportunity will come his way very shortly if he can get a run down the straight and into Paddock Hill Bend. He's looking onto the outside, going to be brave to go round there. Oh, gets all squirrely and crossed up. Yeah, got squirrely and crossed up onto the grass, not close enough to have it go into Druids, is it?
Yeah, Druids. And just as that was going on, Silth is now taking fastest lap of the race and is now onto the back bumper of Matthew Duffin. What else is happening down the grid? It's a little bit more spread out towards the back end of the circuit. As you see there, the Aston Martin of... I'm trying to figure out names here. It's going to be difficult, but Unsworth is up the inside of... oh, God, I can't even pronounce that.
Where are we?
The 20th and 21st. Johnson is now onto the rear wing of the Aston Martin of Aberdeen. That's it, Aberdeen, sorry.
Yeah.
So Aberdeen is on the rear of...
Dan.
Go on.
Sorry, Dan, at the front. Freeman's having a look down the inside. O'Reilly's in there as well. It's all happening at the front. It could be a change for the lead in a minute or a crash as O'Reilly has a look round the outside as they come up to the top of the circuit once again. And Cloudon's right in there as well. Cloudon right in there as well. They are very, very close. Matt Duffin's got enough trouble as well with Sith all over the back of him like a cheap suit.
Yeah, still giving him a hard time. Meanwhile, Jamal Cloudon is right on the rear wing of O'Reilly, and we know what Cloudon's like. He likes to get on with it as soon as he possibly can, and right now that Chevy Camaro is probably looking massive. But while these guys are having their moment, Tardock is off and away. O'Brien now setting faster lap on the in the Alpine, so he's working his way. It's just to do that, he'd go wide at turn 1, and off he goes. He's going to be caught up by Ramsell and Ben, as Ben's not quite able to get onto the back of him. But Tardock pulling away, but Friedman starts to become under a little bit of pressure here.
Yes, indeed. So he's let Tardock get away a little bit. Probably looking in his mirrors more than he is looking forward. Now, you're quite right about that Chevy. That Chevy looks massive when it's in your rear view mirror. It looks about the whole size of the circuit, you know. So, and with Cloudon in it, it's formidable for sure.
It's definitely a car and a present that probably was scared the living daylights out of you. Meanwhile, we've gone on back with Gary Clarble, who's in a little bit of a fight with the Aston Martin of Rob Smith. So they're having a good little fight. They're just ahead of this Aberdeen fight, who's just been overtaken by Johnson. So good move from him as the rest of the order works their way. Fernie, Smoky Devil is known as, has returned back after a time away. He is back on the grid and he's in the thick of it at the minute in his Ginetta. And a few guys opting to pit. Stephen Millington, Gary Leach, Darren Bell and Andrews all in this pit window.
Yes, indeed. I was just looking at the
Tardock's under pressure. Sorry, Kelly, Tardock has made a mistake and he's back under pressure from Friedman. Was anybody going to opt to pit, or are they going to go wheel to wheel? They're all staying out, and there goes Friedman. He's up the inside. Is he going to get it done towards turn number 1? They're side by side, Porsche versus Porsche, but here comes the McLaren. There's a lap car as well. It is all going to get messy.
Yes, indeed. Tardock tries down the inside of Paddock Hill Bend. Friedman's gone deep. And so that's put Tardock up the inside. He's got track position. O'Reilly just with a watching brief. And Cloudon, Duffin and Sith all still in there as well. This is close racing tonight, Dad.
It is indeed.
Trying to stay out of the way.
He is trying to stay out of the way, but he doesn't want to go a lap down because he wants to stay in the fight because all these cars are lapping him. It is absolute chaos here. As up the inside goes O'Reilly, and now Jamal Cloudon, Matthew Duffin's there, and Silth. There is 6 cars going for the win here already. And who says that GT4s are boring?
Whoever said that is very much mistaken. And if they did say it, try driving them.
Tardock once again having to defend in the fast right-hander, and they're catching Ramsell now. So this pack is very mighty. It's like a swarm of and then Friedman tapped him.
Is that what happened? I didn't see the beginning of that. But that's put O'Reilly in the lead. Cloudon's coming up the inside as well. He's going to take advantage of Tardock. He can't make it work. He can't make it work.
They are all over this right now, and Matt Duffin is in it as Friedman went to the attacker, and now he's dropped to the back of the grid. A slight tap, and now it's O'Reilly leading this one.
O'Reilly indeed, and look at them just grabbing onto the back of this as well. We've got Hubert in there as well. Yeah, this is a crazy race. And still anybody's, absolutely anybody's. And remember, none of these guys have pitted yet.
No, none of these guys have pitted. Your very first pitter is of Hibbs, and he is only now getting into the far end of the circuit. O'Brien's into the pit as well, but it is now O'Reilly in the McLaren leading the way. The first time we've seen the McLaren this season. Obviously, we haven't seen it in previous seasons, but O'Reilly's making it look like it is competitive here. But pretty much the top 7 all close together. Robert Ramsell now is also working his way onto the back of him, with Ben not too far away either. So it is literally anyone's game at the minute. Cummings in 10th at the minute, and then Barclough dropping down behind. He's just behind a lapped car of, I believe that is Skunky, and yeah, it's the rest of the drivers just working their way through as they're all starting to pit. But the main fight is at the front, and O'Reilly using the McLaren straight line, pulling away from Tardock.
It is, and it's difficult to watch anything else on the rest of the pack, because this battle for the lead is solely enthralling, all the way from first right down to 8th. Are all pretty much in there, so, and it's great to watch. So I have been flicking backward and forward, trying to find some other battles on track this evening. 35 drivers on track, Dan. This is madness, isn't it?
This is madness.
We should have done the Indy track.
Oh, it would have been epic.
Yeah, we can't do it on this game, but that would have been interesting, wouldn't it?
That would have been interesting indeed. O'Reilly stays out, so does Tardock, as does Duffin is in, Friedman is, and also Hilbert as well. So they're all coming in as well, and they do have a rule. They have to stay within the outside of the line, so that the line that separates the circuit to the pit lane, they have to stay within that white line confinement. But O'Reilly setting fastest lap of the race, but he is dragging Tardock with him, and Cloudon's gone with him as well. Silth now a bit of clean air. Could he do anything to Matthew Duffin while he's pitted? But right now, there's no point in changing tyres. They've truly just got to go for fuel.
Absolutely, it's yeah. What's the point? The tyres will go the distance easily, and then some. We know they will. So yeah, Duffin, Friedman both stopped on their marks, spot on. So we're just waiting for them to. Who was the first pitter, or the highest pitter is Hibbs, and I think they're going to be comfortably out in front of him. Duffin, Friedman. And Hubert are all away.
Yeah, they were pretty much line astern when they came in, and then line astern as they come out. Hibbs, meanwhile, is he's dragging McGowan with him, and to be fair, Hibbs isn't a million miles away. He has worked with the rest of the clear air, and just to stick with this leading group, anything can still happen here, as O'Reilly still leads the race, but he's got Tardock breathing down his neck. Cloudon's just dropped off a little bit now with this a bit freed up. Don't think the Chevy can quite keep with the pace of the guys in front.
Yeah, my controller seems to be stuck again. We had some issues with me not being able to change cameras, and it seems to have happened again. And it seems to happen on Matt Duffin for some reason. How unfortunate is that? I had to listen to him in the party all last season. Now I'm stuck watching him.
Well, that's not the worst thing, so probably a handy thing to just keep an eye on his fight then. Meanwhile, O'Reilly is come up to a little bit of traffic, and Ramsell's, as Chris says, Ramsell has gone off. He's got major damage as well, so Ramsell's got damage to his car, but Tardock again sets fastest lap of the race. How is Matthew Duffin doing with the pressure of Friedman?
Well, there's plenty of pressure because Friedman is all over him. He just pulls to the outside to try and go round the outside of Matt. I think that's brave. Oh, and they touch just very, very slightly. Very slight touch at as they come into the last corner, and Friedman's down the inside. Push Matt slightly wide, put a wheel onto the grass, but Friedman's got the inside line. There's Cloudon coming out of the pits as Friedman and Duffin touch. Duffin goes round the outside on paddock bend. He's going to come across, and he does. Friedman tucks back onto the outside, looks to the inside, but he's not close enough up. Hubert in this as well with a watching brief, but Cloudon did well to get back out in front of this group.
He did indeed, and only just by the skin of his teeth. Meanwhile, Ramsell has got quite a bit of damage. He's going to get himself back out on track. And meanwhile, Hibbs is just behind this fight, and they're just up the road, so anything can still happen here. So Hibbs can still get himself back into this fight as the leaders, O'Reilly and now Tardock, are in, as is Silth. We'll just wait for Ben Rook, who is going to stay out and lead a lap here. Team Audio Sport will lead one lap of Brands Hatch.
That's better than they did last year.
They weren't on the grid last year.
Well, no, but they're better than the Team Audio Sport representative, myself, did last year.
Indeed. Matt Wright, meanwhile, still obviously circulating. He is the last of the pitters, so he will probably have to pit either this lap or the next lap. But where we're riding, Matthew Duffin's gone a little bit wide there.
Yep, Friedman's going to try and go round the outside. It's going to be tricky with Matt. We know Matt can make that very, very wide, that Mercedes.
Tardock
yes.
is, by the way, Tardock has jumped O'Reilly, and I think he's speeding down the pit lane. No, he's not. It looked like he was quite quick, but Tardock has cleared the O'Reilly. Here comes Clouden. He's cleared the guys as well. So, I'm not sure what happened to O'Reilly. Yeah. So whatever happened to O'Reilly, he's lost out to Clouden and Tardock, and now he's under pressure from Silth.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt in there, back in there as well. He has the inside line as they come down the hill to whatever that corner's called.
Graham Hill Bend.
What it's called. Graham Hill Bend, of course it is. Graham Hill Bend. Matt gets a little nudge from Riley. Pushes him out slightly wide, but Slith. Yeah, it's him. Oh, it's good to be back, isn't it? Hey, it's good to be back. Oh, we've got quite the scrap on. I'm stuck on Matt Duffin. As I said, I can't change my camera view for whatever reason. But what a place to be stuck, because the action is certainly going on right here.
It is indeed, and right now Silth is leading this group. Ben has now finally pitted, the last person to pit, but it is Tardock who's leading the way. Fastest lap to his name, winning obviously the Audi event, and he's now leading the GT4 event. He's going to add another win to his name, and this will be an official win as well. Jamel Clouden in that second place at this stage, looking quite competitive, but O'Reilly trying to undo the mistake he's done and try and get past Silth to get himself on that podium position. But a great start for Silth here, but he has got a train of cars behind him.
Absolutely, and he's doing really well. But Ben's still out in front for Team Audio Sport. There's a bit of a story with Ben and how he came to be with us here at Simplay Motorsport. But I'll tell you all about that probably on Pro Night. So if you want to know that story, you can tune in for that. But he was doing well. He's coming into the pits now to take his pit stop.
And he's dropped in behind Hibbs and McGowan. Meanwhile, O'Reilly's up the inside of Silth, but he's got too much curb in the rear end, does not like it. And I'll try and look for another fight while this is going on, because it's not just them that's fighting. Everyone else actually is pretty spread out. So your main fight at the minute, the 1-1-4, has got a stop and go penalty to serve. That is Unsworth. He has to serve that. And we got a Ginetta.
Matt and Hubert have come together. Hubert tried to go up the inside as they moved onto the GP circuit and just gave Matt a tap round, which has put Friedman in front of him. Hubert has given him the place back, or Matt's having the place back. But there was certainly handbags there.
Indeed, there was. And again, like I said, that's allowed Hibbs just to start to creep onto the back of Herbert once again. So these guys just behind, although they're not really in the fight, they've worked together. Hibbs, McGowan and Rook have worked together to work themselves back onto the leading trio, or leading pack, and top 10 could still possibly win this race.
Yes, it's possible. I think, as I said, McGowan and Hibbs have done really, really well, because they were right in the thick of it the first couple of laps and well down the order. So they've done well to come through. Interesting strategies, done them well. I think anybody who ends up in the top 10 tonight, you've got to take your hat off to, because, what a huge grid.
It is indeed. And McGowan's down the inside of Hibbs. Job done. Bit of a touring car S-line, beautifully done there, and Hibbs, no real way to attack. He looks to try and attack up towards Druids, but he can't do so. But McGowan's gone deep, and that's going to allow Hibbs back through. It gives him a shove as well, and Ben is going to try and capitalise on McGowan going off as well. McGowan comes back on circuit, but Ben giving him the space just enough so he can carry on. Meanwhile, Silth is still under immense pressure from O'Reilly.
Absolutely, I'm still stuck watching Matt Duffin, but I could just see in the background they're three abreast as they come down, as they come up to the first part of the GP circuit, and incredibly close indeed.
We are on board with Matthew Duffin. already. He may be struggling a little bit, but still a good performance nonetheless, returning back this season in the Mercedes-Benz, and he's obviously looking to try and keep the pressure on the other guys to make a mistake. The Audi of, not sure who that is, the Audi of Wheel just getting out of the way there of the leading trio, as now Matthew Duffin is now coming through the pack as well. But O'Reilly can't find a way past on Silth at the minute. Cloudon's got no answer for Tardok, who is leading this race, and possibly 2 laps to go. A great start for him already, taking pole, and he's leading this race, and he's got fastest lap at the minute. He's just got to hang in there now, Kelly.
Absolutely, and yeah, he's got a comfortable lead. We've got 2 minutes left of the race. Yeah, as you say, just got to keep it all neat and tidy and bring it home.
As you look there, McGowan's now got past Hibbs once again, but defends the inside of the hairpin of Druids. But no room for Hibbs there as they now clear the lapped car of the Audi. But as they work their way down towards Graham Hill Bend, it is still this three-way fight that is your closest at the minute. No real other fights at the moment. Barclock onto the back of Gasby in 13th place. Gary Gasby.
That's right. Gasby, yeah, something like that.
It's something like that.
If we pronounce any names wrong, yeah, sorry.
I have already said said in the Discord that if I do pronounce it wrong, then feel free to message me privately. I'm unorthodox16. Dan Davis in the Discord. Feel free to just drop me a message and give me the pronunciation, and I will try and get it as best I can. Meanwhile, Matthew Duffin still under massive pressure from Hubert, but McGowan's pulled away from Hibbs here, and Ben Rock, who's not quite able to stick with him at the minute. But Duffin still under some immense pressure from the Chevy Camaro.
Yes, indeed, and Camaro looking good behind him. Matt seems to be sucking up the pressure. He's not new to this pressure at all. You know, it's not his first rodeo, so he's all good. But Hubert looking very racy in that Camaro.
He is indeed. Meanwhile, Friedman has now caught O'Reilly, and O'Reilly is having to defend up at Druids, and no way through for him there. And Matthew Duffin still holding on to that position. Everyone else pretty much line astern at this stage. But Tordok, the start of the season off on pole, he's just got to get through these last couple of corners here, and he is on his way to get the first win of the season here in the Porsche. And obviously, the more points they gain here, the championship ballast will take into effect at Spa, and I think that's where it's really going to hurt them with the straight lines and heavy. So these GT4s will struggle at Spa for straight line.
Yes.
Chris in the chat, good racing. It has been phenomenal racing to watch, and this is why I was out of breath pretty much all season.
Yeah, what a great start to the season. If it's like this all the way through, it's going to be absolutely thrilling, and you know, let's hope it is on all the levels.
Indeed, as Tardok and his team MSA Racing are going to come into the final sector now. Towards the final corner he comes, doing it for Porsche, the number 200. He exits the final corner. Tardok wins the first sprint here at Simpay Motorsport in the GT4 class. Congratulations to him. He wins here at Brands Hatch. Jamal Clouden coming home for a solid P2. Silth in the end defending off O'Reilly and Friedman. Duffin is going to hang in there for a P6. I think he was happy if he got in the top 10. And through the line he goes. Hubert, a great drive as well. McGowan in 8th. Hibbs in 9th. Ben Rock in 10th, completing the top 10. With O'Brien in 11th. Cummings is going to finish in 12th. Gasby is going to finish in 13th ahead of Barclock. With Johnson in that 15th place position. Ramsell followed by Aberdeen as well. What a dramatic first race there, Kelly. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Yes, it was some great racing, and as I said, it's great to be back. And how this challenge progressed in the last 5 years or so, Dan, since we joined it. The competition now is so fierce. So many good drivers, you know, so many committed drivers. It makes for such great racing.
It does indeed. As the rest of the guys right crossing the line, Vesley, Betterson crossing the line, Myers, Leach coming towards the line as well. Tipping 25th, Skunky, 25th with Tipping in 26th, Millington in 27th, Wheel in 28th, Darren Bell 29th. John Andrews is at the moment, he's going to finish in 30th. Gary Carble in 31st, Marsden in 32nd, and Unsworth in 33rd, and both of them will retire. So that will be a qualifying ban for the next race. But Tardog is your race winner. We'll be back in a few moments' time as we will get into the 5-minute qualifying session. It is do or die in but myself and Kelly will be back in a few moments' time. We'll see you just on the other side of this short break. See you in a bit. Why aren't you transitioning?
Are we out?
We are out. We should be. Come on. Oh, I think my Streamlabs has froze.
I've got a on the stream itself. I've got a buffering sign.
My Streamlabs has froze.
Yeah, right. Does that button, when I press this button, do I mute talking all the way through that?
Yeah, so if you hit the mute button, I can't hear you.
Yeah, but I'm just checking the one on my controller actually mutes my headset, so...
Yeah, if you press it, right, press it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't hear you now.
Okay, yeah, that works, okay. I think I might have to go to keyboard, you know. I'm got control again, but I got froze on Matt. And it wouldn't do anything.
Did it accidentally go on, like, drive? Could you see, like, all the rev counters and everything?
No, drive was flashing all the way through. Yeah, like I think it should. But no, I just got stuck on Matt and it wouldn't... now I've got full control again.
So you couldn't hit, like, options, replay, quit, nothing like
that? I could hit the mute button. I could hit the PlayStation button and have all the menu along the bottom, but nothing else was working.
That's strange.
Yeah, but now, as I said, I haven't done anything. I say now.
That is strange.
It stopped again.
What did you do?
It stopped again. I don't know. I didn't do anything. And now, again, I
don't know what's going on there, then.
Yeah, I don't
Matt?
know. No.
Yes, mate.
Why does his controller keep, like, stopping?
Whose controller?
Mine keeps freezing on...
Not sure. Have you updated it recently or anything?
No, I haven't. I bet this is the most I've ever used my controller.
Fair enough. I'm not I wouldn't know then. I'd recommend then pressing the reset button on the back.
Reset button on the back?
27. Yeah, you'll need like a little pin. There's like a little hole on the back of your pad. By the way, Dan, we only have points up to 30th place. we didn't account for 40 drivers.
Yeah, well, tough shit. That's it.
I got stuck watching you, Matt.
I had a good fight.
Yeah, you did alright.
Yeah, so, I enjoyed that.
So it just randomly dies.
Well, I said I'm now. Yeah, I can't get off. I'm on Fernie.
Press the PS button. See if it turns back on.
PS button gives me the menu at the bottom. That's normal, and I can scroll across that.
Then come off that again, and see if you can change then.
I come off the menu. No, I've got nothing. No buttons doing anything except the PlayStation
keyboard
button.
Is the keyboard working?
No, I haven't got a keyboard plugged in. I haven't got the steering wheel plugged in now either.
Is the controller plugged in?
No.
Try plugging the controller in.
Hooper was just going, me wasn't he? Yes, 7th place. Betis 23rd.
No, don't make any difference.
Myers 24th. Detail 18.
Did your...
very bizarre.
26. Jeez, he had a shocker. Oh,
have you recently updated your PlayStation?
No, I don't think so.
Has it needed an update?
I don't know, Daniel.
Close the game again. Wait, you can't even click options, can you?
Should be just dashboard it, shouldn't he, and then go down to the game screen from there.
You can't even play. You can't hit options on the game, can you?
No, I can options. It's giving me a box. When I go onto menu, it's giving me a box for options, but I don't know how to get on it.
Well, when you press start.
When I press the PlayStation button, you get the
Right.
menu along the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got.
Forget that. When you're on ACC,
Yep.
can you press the options button, like the start button?
The options. What start button? The big button in the middle.
No, the bit that pauses the game where it says drive, return, replay, quit. You know, the options button, the one that's by the triangle.
Ah, yes, I can. Yeah.
You can,
But
right? Does it move?
I only just found it. Yeah, that moves.
Right. Okay. Click return to garage.
Going to garage confirm. Yeah.
Working.
Yep.
Right. That's what we're gonna
Yeah,
have to do every
that's
time.
it.
So if it dies, do that.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you
Right.
laughing at?
Oh, he's on the main screen. He was pressed drive, hadn't he?
I think he
No,
pressed.
I didn't press
No,
drive.
no. I
No.
tell you what, he's possibly on. Is he still going to be on that list of names? You know, at the end of the session.
I was on the
No.
list of names. No.
No, it did to him in the middle of the race.
Oh, right, fair enough. Jackal's not here, is he?
If it
Right,
does
I've
that,
got to go for a wee.
okay. I need a
I'll
wee
be
as well.
back in a
So
minute. Back in a minute.
you got roughed up, didn't you?
Oh, just I got a couple of taps from Freeman, tap from Riley, tap from
This
the
is
Chevy.
GT4s. You're gonna have to redo the stream again because my Streamlabs died.
Right, just do it as normal.
I've hit live. It's
Yeah,
live again.
yeah.
You just have
Yeah,
to.
no worries.
Yeah.
I'll sort about that. Yeah, no, it was right. If you're going, I'll be back in the party with Ben.
All right. How did Ben get on?
Yeah, all right, 10th, solid, really. You know, didn't gain anything, didn't lose anything. He was comfortable. A couple of Mercedes in front of him, roughing each other up, and he was cautious. I think he tapped Ramsel at one point, but apart from that, he had a good, steady race. He was pleased. So, this is the first time he's properly driven him, so he seemed happy. So, yeah, he seems all right. And he's a good lad as well. He communicates when this thing's happening with you. So, he seems all right, Dan, to be fair.
See why I signed him.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Well, I'll jump back in with him because Gary's in there now.
Yep.
In a bit.
Oh, I need a wee. Right. Whew. Right, are you ready, Dad?
I'm ready.
Okay.
5-minute qualifier. This should be interesting.
Want to try it like this? Hell yeah. Who's near the front?
Yeah.
Who's at the front of the queue? I think it might be Clouden. He always seems to be one. No, wait, who's that? Oh, that's
hard to
Gary
tell.
inside Clouden. Then Matt's there.
Oh, steady on. McGowan.
Yeah, I got him. Friedman's up there. It's because there's not enough pits lanes. Right. Right, we'll go in. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport. Apologies for the change of stream. My Streamlabs decided to play silly buggers, but we are back live. We are all okay, ready to go. Free practice has now come to an end. And Kelly, obviously, again, from your perspective last season, you were in these cars, you were in this championship. We're now going to a 5-minute qualifying session. How crucial is this qualifying session? Because if you don't get it right, you're not going to be in a competitive position, are you?
No, I mean, we are moving into a feature race where you might have more opportunities, but certainly in a 20-minute race, you know, hey, it's one of two things, really. Kind of you either want to be at the sharp end or at the back. But then with 35 drivers on the grid, Dan, you know, being at the back now, it's going to be a big ask to come from the back to the front. Being in the middle means the fear of carnage, but only two people can be at the front, can't they? Really?
Only two, and really, that's why some people, they're all just charging out of the pits. They literally just all mob the pit exit. Obviously, sometimes it can play into your favour staying in the pit lane. Obviously, you get the clean air, but you will get that only one lap. Obviously, when we go to Spa next week, it is going to be even harder. I mean, it takes the GT3 cars to get around in a lap of 2 minutes 20 something just on the out lap. Let alone.
Yeah, it's going to. Absolutely impossible next week to get more than one lap in. This was actually quite fun. I always was quite high up the grid. In my garage was always quite high up the grid, should I say. So I usually got out of the sharp end, which probably upset quite a few people. But I had some great fun in qualifying, you know, purely because it's a race to get a good lap, you know, and it was quite good fun, to be fair.
Indeed it is, and then obviously it reminds me back of the old Formula 1 days when they literally had one lap and that was it. Wherever you qualified is where you qualified. A lot different nowadays, but I do think this 5-minute qualifying for this championship works very well for these cars.
I think, certainly for these and for the spectators, you know. I mean, we've got a real scrap on our hands here. You know, these guys have got a small window. They've got to get the job done. You know, there's no faffing around, hanging about. It's got to be done now, and they've got to get on it.
And indeed, it will show the drivers who are capable of pulling that one lap out and who need that extra lap to build up. I know for a fact that I can't just pop the lap out straight away. I need time to build confidence, build pressure, build everything in the car, in the tyres, and especially as well, the other thing I forgot to mention, Kelly, these tyres are not in tyre blankets. They're stone cold when they come out. So even your first lap is a bit sketchy.
I always found that I needed at least the second or the third lap on the tyres to get the tyres anywhere like where I wanted them. You said you couldn't get it all together straight away. God, it would take me 20 minutes, half an hour to get somewhere like where I need to be, let alone 5 minutes. Certainly the Ginetta wouldn't warm its tyres up on an out lap alone, you know?
Yeah, it would not indeed, as Matthew Duffin is the man we're currently on board with. Hopefully we should have figured out Kelly's camera issues and driver issues, but we'll figure that one out as Matthew Duffin's gone wide at the penultimate corner there, and Cummings is now coming up behind him, so Cummings is looking like he's going to be a little bit quicker. He struggled with Sterling's bend there as they come into Clearways and Clark Curve. But Matthew Duffin is going to set, O'Brien set the pace, as Duffin is now coming to the line. A 31.8 has been set by O'Brien, and Matt's off the pace due to that little mistake he's made, but he has managed to get another lap. He might get another 2 laps in. O'Brien sets...
McGowan goes quickest.
McGowan does set the pace. Hubert goes fastest.
Hugo quickest, yeah.
Hubert.
Tumble. Yeah, you all right? Do you need a bag or something?
I don't know what I need.
This is going to tumble like a fruit machine. You know, it's going to... O'Reilly goes quickest with a 1:30.7.
9 tenths faster than Hubert. So
yeah, he got a good run there.
Yeah, then there's... Go on.
I was just going to... I just wondered if he was on his own, but he's not. He's quite close to Unsworth. On track. I wonder if he had clear air. He's behind Unsworth now. He'll struggle to get another quick lap with O'Reilly, so that's probably going to be his best one.
Yeah, where is Will Friedman? He usually likes to sit in the pits. He's actually coming out of the final corner towards the end of the season. He just chose to start from the back of the pack for the hell of it, and he comes to the line. Does he put him pole? No, it puts him 5th at the minute. So O'Reilly, that banker lap that he put in is good enough for pole position at this stage, but obviously the laps are going to come quicker and quicker as they build confidence. O'Brien now back to the front for him, and he's coming to the line here. What can he do in the Alpine? What we found out of O'Brien, he used to be a Porsche Super Cup driver, a real one at that. A real one. He used to do the British Porsche Super Cup, and he goes P3. Bit different being in an Alpine, I bet.
A bit different being in a sim race because real world rules do not apply around here.
They do not indeed. Matthew Duffin, meanwhile, is still struggling. He's down in 10th, being out-qualified by Ben Rook, who is not going to get another lap, so he crosses the line and he will stay at 9th. Neither did Matt Wright or Smith. Darren Bell crosses the line and he only goes into 17th place position. 17th. They're going to come thick and fast now as Tardok is one. Silth now goes into 2nd as a few of the Lions cars coming to the line. Barclock goes in to a P12, and here comes Tardok. Has he taken pole? Not quite. He will stay 2nd to O'Reilly at the minute.
So close.
Hubert, though, still on a lap as well. We look to Will Friedman now into the final sector. Who else is on a lap? That's the question. Hibbs goes 8th.
Yes, he does. Will Friedman, as you said, coming into the last corner now, accelerating along the main straight, if you can call it that. Nothing straight here, and goes third. Yeah, close as well. Just 2 tenths off the ultimate pace.
He does, and Gary Leach no longer 131. He's now 313. He goes into P11, and Hubert is still on the lap, as is Matthew Duffin, McGowan as well. I believe here is Matthew Duffin into the final corner. He goes, and the reason for Gary Leach changing from 131 to 313, he's going back to stock car racing in real life, and as he goes back, he's lost his race number. Matthew Duffin 11th.
So he's got his new race number as his new race number for sim racing.
Yep, 313. And Hubert goes into P6 there, but it is Kieran O'Reilly in the McLaren taking pole position, and it's going to be the same two at the front again. Tordok not taking pole this time, Kelly, but these two looking the pace with Friedman there in 3rd.
Yes, I mean that was fast and furious, wasn't it? And we're gonna that's how it's going to work out every week, is it not?
It is indeed. So obviously race 1 will be a reverse grid of the championship. So we'll obviously have a rundown of the provisional standings after this race. But then the second race will be the 5-minute qualifying session once again. And at Spa is going to be a nightmare. Matt Wright in the chat, part of the ARL group, tuning in the shower. Lovely. Make sure you wash your hair properly. Wish I could be on track with these guys. It is a really, really competitive grid this season, White.
Yeah, and White, I'm kind of quite happy to be sat here in the commentary box. Actually, it's I don't know if it looked as hectic as that last season, but yeah, it's quite intimidating. sitting this side, thinking you were in that. You know?
Indeed, and I think this, not just obviously the GT3s, but obviously not just the GT4s, but the GT3s this season. Some of the hot stints that we've got coming in, and some of the driver level is just really high. I've never seen this channel so competitive. I think as well, don't want to obviously blow our own trumpet, but I do think Simplay is probably the most competitive console league that's out there now, with just the level of drivers we have.
Yes, absolutely, and as I said earlier on in the evening, you know, myself and Daniel started 5 years ago. Is it 5? Yeah, got to be five years ago.
Lockdown, yeah.
In lockdown we started here at Simplay, so we're one of the reasonable originals. We have got some actual originals here on the grid and on Pro.
I believe the original ones is Matthew Duffin, Mike Matthews, Gary Leach, Kieran Argent, obviously he's come back, Monkey Boy, aka Andrew Taylor, and pretty much
Argent back, is he?
Yeah, Argent's back on the grid. He's gone back to, he was in the Mustang last season. He's gone to Bentley once again. Was he Mustang? I think he was being. He was one of them.
I don't know. We were arch enemies. Good friends off track, but arch enemies. Back in our Project Cars days is where we all started this 5 years ago. But yes, my point being that the quality of drivers has just got so much better, and the speed of these drivers, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. As I say, it's almost intimidating to watch now, you know.
It is indeed. Another driver we haven't mentioned, Skunky, down in 22nd. He is not having a good start to this season. He's going to got a lot of work to do here tonight. But as the drivers go around and do their formation, obviously I talked about the Patreon, I talked about the calendar. Let's talk about our fantastic sponsors. Let's start off with Design. Let's start off with Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics and laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much, much more, including Simplay merchandise. Still waiting on my Simplay merchandise, Mike. But his Facebook link is there in the chat, so head over to Design Manchester for all those wonderful needs. And then we got Audio Sport, and I will let the man himself take over Audio Sport himself.
Oh no, I'm interested to see what you got written down. You tell me what you got written down for
manufacturer of VW Transporter, T4 Audio Solutions and Styling Products. Head over to www.audiosport.co.uk/ www.audiosport.co.uk or head over to the Facebook link in the bio as well. Is that right? Not bad.
For those who don't know, Audio Sport is my company. We've got Instagram pages as well. Team Audio Sport. Search Team Audio Sport on Instagram, and that's the one for the fun stuff, sim racing, car shows and stuff like that. That's the one that has all that kind of stuff on it. The normal Audio Sport page has the products and work on it, but Team Audio Sport is the one for fun, so that's the one to follow.
And also, I believe Mike Matthews as well is on Instagram as well with Design Manchester as well. So give him a look and a follow on that as well. As we're about to get our feature race underway, it is O'Reilly versus Tardog as 45 minutes are about to get underway here at Brands Hatch. And once again, Darren Bell with a drive-through as they head down towards turn number 1. Tardog is going to go right around the outside if he possibly can, but he's gone a little bit too deep, not enough creep. And Friedman this time up the inside has got the job done, as we got also the Alpine of O'Brien up the inside, as Silth there also looking to make a move as it all gets quite close, as Silth has a little moment and nearly drops it, as Ben Rock is now on the move as well. So already a little bit of chaos going through the first couple of laps here.
Yes, indeed. Reasonably clean, as nobody's turning in the wrong direction from what I can see, but a bit of pushing and shoving, but that's about it at the moment.
O'Reilly leading the way though, with Tardog just behind him, but it is once again Hubert who's on the move. Kelly, what's happened?
Just a bit of argy-bargy at the back of the grid. I had a bit of there was somebody a little bit sideways, but it came of nothing as they got it all back together. We've got Cloudon's way back as well in 23rd. Where did he qualify?
I believe he was up the order. So Jamal Clouden down in 22nd. Maybe not the best qualifying either, but he is down the order, and he is right in the thick of it. As I believe, as I just changed camera there's a bit of dirt being kicked up as they all work their way through the final few sectors. I do need to get a keyboard so I can change the cameras better. But so far, so good. We do have a yellow flag towards the back. That is the 57, I think that is. There's John Andrews once again having a moment, but it is Kieran O'Reilly leading the way from Tardog, from Friedman, from Hubert, but this time O'Brien's in the fight, as is McGowan. Sylph and Duffin still got Duffin's got his hands full with his teammate Gary Leach right behind him.
Yeah, Gary Leach, absolutely. Original sim players, these two, and all good. I was in a party with these guys all season as well last year. It was Gary Leach is always good fun to be in a party with, and always drives like he stole it. You know,
he does indeed.
Yeah, rocks up, just does the job.
Clouden, meanwhile, is on the move. He was in the 18th position. He is now fighting Cummins and Unsworth, who's gone a little bit wide, and that's going to allow Cummins up the inside. And Jamal Clouden looks like he has got the run in the Chevy Camaro, and it's quite a bit of a brute in a straight line as Unsworth goes across. He's in the toe of the Alpine, and he's about to get mugged by two very powerful engine cars right behind him. But the little Alpine, the little bug car, stays in front. Oh, Clouden's gone wide.
He has gone wide, and there just wasn't enough room for everybody around that corner as they went round. So that's put Clouden back a position or two. So he's got that all to do again. I know yes, he has gone back, hasn't he? Gone back a couple. So he's still got that all to do all over again. So we've got time. We've got time. So see what he can do as he progresses up through.
He has indeed. The leading pack, though, all kind of spread out a little bit. Meanwhile, Hubert is looking very quick and is on the back bumper of Friedman and Tordok, his teammate. So we'll see what these guys can do. And if the fight gets continuing on, as O'Brien there has gone wide in the Alpine and go through does Matthew Duffin, as Darren Bell still yet to serve his drive-through.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, Darren had a couple of drive-throughs on his starts last season, so hasn't quite nailed that one just yet. Maybe he'll get the hang of it in the next few races. McGowan in the mix again in this race, back towards the front. Didn't have the best of first races.
No, he did not.
He's right in there now.
Yeah, he's in this one. McGowan, very quick driver. He gave me a hard time towards the end of the GT3 season in his Ferrari at Donington Park. Was very, very quick. And once again, he's showing what he can do in the GT4. So very good in that Mercedes-Benz. But O'Reilly, though, Kelly, is in control at the moment. He does not look flustered at all and just slowly building that gap to Tordok. And I think Tordok is too busy looking in his rearview mirror, because when you've got Friedman behind you, you do probably spend more time looking in your mirrors than you do looking forward.
Yes, we've got Millington's round further back, and there's absolute chaos. As Marsden has crashed into him, and they're taking avoiding action left, right, and centre. You've got Millington and Marsden right in the middle of the track, and a bit of chaos down the order.
And as the rules state, they have to hold on to their brakes and wait until it's clear. And as they've done so, Millington with damage, though, a second race not going his way at all. But O'Reilly not quite as quick that lap. He's been caught by Tordok ever so slightly. Hubert has actually dropped off of the two, and now he's starting to become under pressure from McGowan. Sylph is there just as well, and Duffin's trying to stick with them. But Gary's got his hands full with the little Alpine of O'Brien. And once again, like I said, Hibbs and Rook at the minute, I probably wouldn't have put them in the top category of this class, but they're hanging in there. They're just hanging on to the back of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a nice little scrap going on with Skunky, Unsworth, Gasby and Aberdeen towards 17th, where are we? 15th, 16th, 17th place. All very close at the moment.
And Skunky gaining out of that worse, and Gasby is now also following behind. We've also got Aberdeen right on the back bumper of them, with I think Unsworth just dropping down the order of this group as well, and it's all quite close here. But Skunky should pull away from this group now, as he's got the pace over the guys behind him, and looks like just behind him as well is Barclock and Vesely. fighting for 19th and 20th position. Matt Wright pulling away from Myers, and that's a group of cars just behind him. A lot of Ginettas involved in that fight there, and a McLaren and an Aston Martin in the middle of that as well. So the Ginettas not looking as mighty as they used to do last season.
No, Clouden now back on the back of Cummins as they come into the final corner, and I think Clouden's got him lined up. Goes down the inside into turn 1, is going to have a nice and easy pass on Cummins there as they go into Paddock Hill Bend. But Cummins coming across, having a look down the inside as they come up to the hairpin, but Clouden's got that one covered off. Clouden moves up to 14th.
He does indeed. A bad qualifying possession dropped him back. Meanwhile, O'Reilly has lost a bit of pace at the front. He's now got 8 tenths separating him and Tardog, who has gone fastest of them all at the minute. And Friedman's going with him as well. Huber now starting to put away from McGowan because he's under pressure from Silth in the Ginetta. So the highest looking Ginetta now starting to pressurize the Mercedes-Benz. And the 2 Porsches of Tardog and Friedman have been looking very, very good. Possibly the car to be in this season, but we still got a lot of Mercedes-Benz up that end of the circuit as well. But still got Matthew Duffin breathing down his neck, and this is good for Matthew. He will be learning racing lines from the guys in front and trying to build that confidence, and he's looking a lot better in this race pace-wise. Even though he's at the back of this group, he is sticking with them with confidence.
Absolutely. Now he's got the big boy racing pants on, and he's not using the training line anymore.
He is indeed, and Silth there looking to just hold that position. Matt had a sniff at opportunity. Meanwhile, O'Reilly once again pulls the gap 1 second from Tardog and Friedman. What other fights have we got going on? Gary Leach has got Hibbs and Rook right behind him.
Yeah, that's the one I'm just watching at the moment. Team Audio Sports Ben Rook is pressuring Hibbs, and Gary not too far in front of that battle as well. So yeah, Ben doing his bit for Team Audio Sport, part of the Young Driver programme.
He is indeed, and he's ahead of the Greasy Bandits racing driver of Hibbs and ahead of the Simplay racing driver of Gary Leach. And good close fight at the minute. Fernie ahead of Jamal Clouden, and Jamal should be able to get this one. He has indeed. Yeah. So we'll see what Jamal Clouden can do. Skunky's obviously cleared that group now, as Aberdeen is now behind Skunky because he's now cleared Gadsby, and they're all starting to pull away from the guys behind. Ramsor's having a better start to this race, not as good as he's dropped down the order, but everyone else still going. That is Millington returning back to track after major damage earlier on. But once again, O'Reilly whoa! Tardog, just went through the fast right-hander and got it on 2 wheels.
Bless him. True touring car style.
Indeed, and he's had to, because of that mistake though, he's ended up having to defend from Friedman. They've dropped Hubert, who's just not been able to stick with him, and now McGowan's right down his neck. But we're watching Friedman right on the rear wing of Tardog. This is going to be an exciting season between these 3, I think.
Yeah, it's looking to shape up that well for sure. Yeah, Friedman looking very racy, isn't he?
He is indeed, and Tardog there goes a bit wide, but Friedman not close enough. Hubert is defending heavily here as he's got McGowan, Silth and Duffin all there, as O'Brien's got a little bit deep. Gary Leach going to get a little bit closer, so the packs are close, and Jamal Clouden has cleared that of Fernie, yep. So Fernie's dropped down the order as well.
He's got a big gap now to get back onto this front pack of 10 or 11 cars, so he's got to get his head down and get some real quick lap times in, because he's got to make up a couple of seconds there, 4 seconds.
4.9.
Up to Ben. Yeah, 4.9 up to Ben, Team Audio Sports, so he's got to get his head down. We'll see how he progresses.
Indeed, as the MSA Racing are currently sat in second place, still holding that fastest lap, with the old school races of Will Friedman just behind them. But then we got that pack of 4 all fighting it hard for that final position. O'Reilly once again just seems to possibly make a mistake earlier on and has built that gap up again. He's just in control at this stage of this race, but all still to play for as we still go a long way into this race. A bit kicked up in front of these pack of 4, and Hubert though soaking up the pressure brilliantly here at the minute.
Yeah, and he's under immense pressure from McGowan. McGowan is one of those cars, when you see him in your mirror, you take notice.
Gary Leach now on the attack of O'Brien. O'Brien has to defend the inside. The tiny Alpine versus the monstrous Mercedes. To the outside goes the Mercedes-Benz of Gary Leach. He won't be able to get the job done. He's watched a lot of touring cars. He's been to Donington Park, but he's watched a couple of lines, and he'll know the runs up towards Druids. And can O'Brien hold on to position? Obviously, he has raced here professionally, so a bit of different track knowledge for the two of them. And right behind them is Hibbs and Rook also going at it. So great racing from these four, but O'Brien just keeps the position, and Touring Car S just parking it on the apex.
Absolutely, and Touring Car S from Gary Leach gave him a little nudge to say, I'm still here.
And Gary's looking up the inside, and contact made.
Contact made indeed, and O'Brien takes Rook when he's sliding as well. So, yeah, the three cars got all roughed up by that. Of course, who does that put back in the mix? There's Clouden.
Yeah, it does help out Clouden massively.
Yeah. 3 places there in one straight for Clouden.
Hibbs obviously his teammate, and Hibbs allowing him through, and Hibbs now having to defend. So all that stemmed from Gary Leach just giving him a little nudge, and that was enough to cause this domino effect, and Clouden now clearing this back of cars, so pretty much a little bit easier for him. O'Reilly though still leading. Tordok still got Friedman up his backside, and I think these two are going to be stuck together for pretty much the entire race, while Hubert is probably all season as well, while Hubert has pulled away from McGowan, because McGowan is now defending from Silth.
Yes, he is, and having to defend hard because Silth is all over him. Matt's still there with a watching brief, just a car length behind, ready to pick up the pieces as soon as it all goes terribly wrong.
Oh, who's that off? That is John Andrews. Yeah, that is John Andrews. He's one of. Yeah, he has been but he's got major damage to the front end of that Mercedes.
Cool. He made a mess of that.
He has indeed, and Hubert they're just holding on and still not able to capitalise on that moment. Meanwhile, I'll go back to the front with Friedman and Tordok, who once again are going at it, and Friedman, he was 5,000s alongside him then, but he just can't find the space. This is the problem here. And Chris in the chat saying not much room over 8 question mark. Yeah, very much so. This is the problem with Brands Hatch. It's so tight, it's so twisty. Trying to get an overlap, you do need to have significant pace on the car in front.
Yes, you do. Overtaking opportunities are very few and far between round here. So I tell you what, Dan, if I did GT4 again, I don't think I'd bother with the Ginetta. I suppose it depends on the calendar, but its lack of straight line speed is just a problem.
Oh, McGowan's had a moment in the penultimate corner, and that's going to give it a little bit of pressure from Silth, but I don't think Silth's got the straight line advantage in that Ginetta, and they've all been held up a little bit, while Friedman had a look at Tordok once again, but the more and more they fight, the more and more O'Reilly pulls away. 3.1 is now the gap. O'Reilly storming out in front. Touring car pace, that is, because the touring cars don't really tend to disappear quite quickly, and at the minute O'Reilly's looking quite good at the minute, but Hubert is defending heavily from McGowan, and Silph's gone a little bit wide because McGowan's gone deep, and now Duffin's up the inside as well. This could be an opportunity for either one of these cars to take that 4th place position, and it's mad how 4 cars are just fighting for 4th.
Absolutely. Matt gets run a little bit wide there. He's right on the outside, makes himself vulnerable out there for sure. But good racing here.
You got the power of the 2 Mercedes-Benz pulling away in the straights, and the bruteness of the Chevy Camaro just abusing curves in front, and then you got the Ginetta that's nimble and fast in the corners, all equally matched here, and it's brilliant to see as once again the 2 Porsches are line astern. Meanwhile, Clouden is trying to hunt down Gary Leach. That gap's gone down to 2 seconds. O'Brien is in 10th with Hibbs in 11th. Skunky's worked his way up to 12th place position, with Rook dropping down to 13, possibly damage to the front end of his car. The pit window will be opening soon with Fernie, Aberdeen, Gasby and Unsworth.
Tordok's gone wide. Friedman's got a run down the outside, but he can't make it stick. Sorry, he had quite the run on him then. Oh no, Friedman's gone to the inside on the grass. He's got 2 wheels on the grass, but Friedman has got the inside line as they come down to the first corner. And can he be later on the brakes? Tordok's going to go right round the outside down Panic Hill Bend, but still side by side for 3 or 4 corners now. But it's Friedman who's got track position into the hairpin. But Tordok's not letting him go. They touch doors, no harm done. And Friedman is still not through. Yes, he is now. He's got the job done.
Friedman is finally clear of Tardot. Tardot gave up a good hard fight, but he eventually lost out. What he needs to do now is just latch onto the back of Friedman now and work together to try and catch onto the back of O'Reilly, who's way out in front. Meanwhile, Chris says that Skunky has been in the wall, so he looks like he's got a little bit of damage to the front end of his car. He's on the back of Fernie and Ben Rook as well, but Clouden is now onto the back bumper of Gary Leach, who they've caught Matthew Duffin as well. So Duffin's dropped off the back of Sylph. And Hubert, where is McGowan? McGowan's also dropped behind them. So maybe, obviously, with the little coming together earlier on, earlier on they had a coming together, but well, no, they didn't.
It's been a moment for McGowan because McGowan was way up, wasn't he? He was further up than that. So
yeah, he's got
something we missed.
Yeah, definitely so. Meanwhile, Clouden, even though he had a bad qualifying session, has worked his way up back into the top 10. And I think this is what's allowing him to, this 45-minute race is what he needed. Obviously, Kelly, we're going into this season for the GT3s. They'll have an hour-long race, and the possible tyre change is definitely on the cards. Do you think it's really worth it for the 45-minute race for these GT4s?
I've always been well known for looking after my tyres. I would be. I don't think a 45-minute race would be a problem for the GT4s on these tyres. But
5-second loss for fresh tyres as Clouden now passes Gary Leach. So it's a 5-second loss, fresh set of tyres. You could lap quicker than you did further on. Meanwhile, O'Brien's gone really wide.
I think it's got to depend on the driver. It didn't work like that for me. Do you know what I mean? You know, so what my pace was my pace. If the tyres were in so-so shape or new, you know, it wouldn't give me an advantage. So for me, possibly not. But for possibly yourself, Daniel, or drivers like you who are quicker, that new tyre advantage might give you a couple of extra laps of pace, like, you know. So I think it's a hard one to tell on these cars.
Skunky, meanwhile, is looking to the outside of Fernie, heading towards the middle sector, and not far enough on overlap on it, as a couple of guys are now starting to pit. We've got Taylor in the pits. We've also got Myers, Bell, Clarble, Cummings, and also Millington as well. And it has been a dramatic race nonetheless. And Friedman now has dropped Tardot. Can he do anything about O'Reilly? That is the question, as they've got a lapped car just ahead of him of the Audi.
Yeah, as you said, in traffic, but he jumps out of the way.
McGowan's pitted
perfectly.
McGowan's pitted, as will Ben Rook as well. He'll come into the pit, so does Skunky as well. So a lot of these drivers possibly got a little bit of damage they'll probably want to get rid of and use the last 20 minutes of this race to their advantage. The gap between O'Reilly and Friedman was just over 4 seconds. It is now 3.9. So can Friedman slowly bring that gap down? That is the question. Hubert is not a million miles away from him, but he has dropped Sylph and Duffin, and Clouden now looking to try and chase Duffin down. Everyone else, though, pretty spread out, as Johnson has cleared Vesely as well. So your leading pitter at the minute is Dan Taylor, and he's currently in 27th position.
He certainly is. Just looking down the order. McGowan he's come up green as he left. Yeah, he's now leaving the pits, so he will be probably your highest pitted now.
He is indeed.
By a long shot. Yeah.
As Ben will be in that group as well. So they've got their pit stops done, and now the tyre change is the question. This is going to open strategies up massively. O'Reilly, though, continues leading the way. He has extended the gap to 4.3. He is in comfortable condition, and one of the things that I learned from O'Reilly that season, the guy is consistent. He rarely makes a mistake, and when you give him that opportunity to pull away, he will pull away and he will not make a mistake. So it's going to take a lot for Friedman and Tardot to bring that gap down, I think, as Duffin now opts to pit as well. He comes in there with Gary Leach as well. And back in the Project Cars days, this wouldn't have been allowed. Teammates would have to stay out and wait for their teammate to pit. So both the Simplay Racing boys opting to pit this lap.
Yeah, of course. Well, pretty much in most motor racing that wouldn't happen, would it? You couldn't do it in Formula 1 or touring car. You just wouldn't have the pit space. But we can in here, so happy days, and they decide to pit together. you know, I've been looking and trying to at this early stage to try and see who's going to be who's going to be a contender for the championship, and there's so many quick guys in here. It's going to be such an enthralling season. It really is.
And obviously, with the likes of the calendar we have, is obviously going to suit different cars. Obviously, the Porsche is going to be quite good brand here, small, nimble, got a decent amount of power, so brands would probably suit it quite well. But then we head to Spa, where the big muscle cars like the Chevy Camaro and the Mercedes will be strong, as will the BMW. That's probably the strongest in a straight line. It's a calendar of mixed different circuits and different ability of drivers, but with the reverse grid and ballast involved. This is the pure racing as it is. But when we go to Spa, whoever's leading the championship will be hampered, and so on and so forth. So this is about as fast as they'll go this season.
Yes, indeed. So, and you know, hey, stay tuned for the next 2 nights. See how the pro-ams and the pros get on with it in the GT3. Any ballast for those this season, Dan?
No, not for the GT3s.
No.
So for the GT3s, we apply the BOP, the balance and performance. So in each round, we look to a BOP system. I believe it's the LFM BOP. And each car will be added and demoted weight due to its performance at the circuit. So, for example, from what I know, the Porsche loses 3 kilos at Brands Hatch, while something like the Lexus would lose 37 kilos or something like that. So the BOP will change based on how well the car performs at each circuit. If it struggles, it will lose weight. If it is quite competitive, it will gain weight. I'm sure Matthew Duffin will explain all that come Thursday night.
Absolutely.
But you'll see that in the timetables what cars are carrying what weight, and the same with these. You'll be able to see what weight people are carrying come each round. McGowan, meanwhile, has jumped ahead of Duffin, and Leachy's got that gap, and Rook not too far behind them either. So they're all relatively close. As O'Reilly chooses to pit, with Friedman carrying on, and Tordok has come in as well. Hubert is in also, still stays out, and Jamal Clouden, what does he opt to do? He's also using the clean air right now.
Yep, so O'Reilly in at the moment, as you said, stopped on his marks, no problem. Tarduk in there as well. All things being equal, they should get out reasonably easy. Can have some traffic to contend with. Likes of Millington just coming out of the pits now as well, so there's going to be some traffic around, and you wouldn't be a surprise with 35 cars on track, would it? I mean, look, the pit lane is chaos at the moment.
The pit lane is busy. O'Reilly is on his way out. Where is the leading car? That is McGowan, and he's only now coming into the final sector, or the final couple of corners. So O'Reilly well out in front. Tardog has gone green as well. Hubert has actually jumped Tardog. So So Hubert has gone ahead of his teammate. So the Porsche driver possibly changing tyres, because that's a 5-second gap that he's given up.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe opted for those fresh tyres. Again, different people. As I say, I've always been good on tyres. It's been one of my strengths, and I've never had any tyre issues. But I know some of you have real tyre problems.
Will Friedman once again continuing to circulate around as the top 3 are still opting to carry on. The 501, that is Robert Ramsell, and he is sped in the pit lane. He gets right out of the way of Will Friedman, and I think a lot of these drivers are going to be well happy to leave Brands and head to Spa, because it is very tight round here.
Yeah, Robert, I had some ding-dongs with him last season. I think there was one evening where I managed to hit him about 6 times, bless him. It turned into a bit of a running joke. All in the best taste, I'm sure.
Jamal Clouden now into the pits. Where is O'Reilly? He is now coming into the final sector. So Hubert and Tardog haven't really done anything with that. Obviously, we'll have to see what Tardog has done with the tyres if he suddenly then comes back. But the problem is with that, we're at Brands Hatch. It's a difficult circuit to overtake, let alone work your way back up the pack. Clouden's still in pit lane at the minute, and Will Friedman, though, still leading the way. No real fights at the minute other than
He's got to get on with it. He's got to get on with it. It's only a minute, 2 minutes left of the pit window, so...
Yeah, so Friedman and Silth are coming into the final, so they should be able to, as long as they get into pit lane by the time the timer runs out, they should be fine. But if the timer runs out before they even get to pit lane, then they will get the penalty. Meanwhile, Cummings is on
Gonna have to be, yeah. Sorry, Dan, Friedman's in, and he would have to, you know.
Yeah, it's this lap, and that's it. You could, if Friedman was possibly the only one who could possibly stretch it, but it is a very, very close call. But into the pits comes Silth, and then Matt Wright is the last one to pit. But O'Reilly with the lead at the minute and confidence, but will Friedman, will he be able to bring that gap down with this stop? That is the question. What other fights are going on? We got Fernie, who's under pressure from Gasby in behind in the Mercedes-Benz, and that bright pink Mercedes. And 181, who is that? That is 181 is Carble. He's got to drive through for track limits.
Really?
Easily done
Riley's
here, though.
Coming into the, sorry, Dan. Riley coming into the last corner, and Friedman's on his way out. This is going to be tight.
This is going to be very, very tight.
Oh, and O'Reilly's just done it. Just pipped him into turn one, and I do mean just. That 4-second lead that he had earlier on is gone.
It is gone, and now we have got a fight for the win here. O'Reilly's had it pretty comfortable from pretty much from start to now, and now he's under some pressure from Friedman. Can Friedman take the win away? And again, Friedman had a brilliant season last season, just could not be able to commit to every single race, and now he is in an opportunity to possibly leave here at Brands in the lead of the championship. But he's got O'Reilly right in front of him. The 181 of Clarball has cleared his drive-through. The pit window is now closed. Wright did manage to make it into the pit, so he should not get a penalty. But Hubert and Tardog are just miles behind. They're 10 seconds behind, so whatever strategy they've gone for has not worked out for them at all. As there's
this I reckon is going to be the championship story, these two.
Yeah, if both of them have a clean season with no wheel issues, able to commit every race, this could be the season fight, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Tardog as well involved.
I think there's going to be lots of race winners, but I think this is going to be where it's out. Friedman put the laps in, drop that that gap down to O'Reilly, and I think this is the shape of the season.
It is indeed, and like I said, O'Reilly does not get flustered easy, so he should be able to absorb this pressure. He's done a season in the pro category, and there's a lot of quick drivers in there. Friedman himself has been in the pros as well. In the Porsche 992, really gave a lot of people a couple of headaches while he was a reserve. But nonetheless, these two, very, very quick driver. They're miles ahead of Hubert and Tordog, who Tordog has now caught. Tardog has caught the back of Hubert, so we'll see if team orders will come into effect here. Jamal Clouden is trying to catch McGowan as well, but probably your closest fight is Aberdeen, Fernie and Gasby. That's your closest fight on track at this stage.
Well, I'm still watching the leaders now coming up behind Marsden to lap him. Hopefully he'll be compliant and not get involved in this too much. But they're up the far end of the circuit on the GP section, and Marsden is in the way really. Where are we with the blue flag rules? Are we back to endurance rules?
Nope, they should jump out of the way.
I think Marsden was there for quite a long time, in my opinion, but no harm done for O'Reilly and Friedman. No one gained, no one lost, so they're both still as close as they were before, but this is a titanic battle for the lead.
Hubert has allowed his teammate through, so Tardog going through. So the two MSA Racing duo are looking very good in the team's points at the minute. Very, very good points for those two at the minute. Both Porsche and Camaro leading the way at the minute. But this is your main fight. Friedman versus O'Reilly, and I think this is going to be the battle of Titanics. It's going to be awesome. It's back up there with Gary versus myself and Matthew versus De Silva and the top guys that we've seen. Ripper versus Overtaker. This is going to be the dogfight of the season.
Argent and KLF. Come on, man.
And then both of you got caught out by Rabbit Joe at the end.
I still won that round. If you want some great racing, go back about 3 years on your YouTube and find it.
There is a playlist, I believe, of all the other race seasons on there, so you can have a look at the playlist. And reminder as well to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss any of the action here at Simplay Racing. We're about to get things towards the back end of this race. Spa is next on the calendar, and obviously real weather involved. So if it's raining at Spa, imagine the rain, the reverse grid, the ballast, 5-minute qualifying session.
I found these cars extremely good in the wet, to be fair. You know, extremely good in the wet. I mean, they're extremely good cars, and that's why we've got very close racing. Do you know what I mean? They're easy cars to drive, you know, not taking anything away from anybody, but do you know what I mean? They're planted, solid cars. The car very rarely catches you out. It's you know, it's quite a pure racing series.
As Gadsby allows Unsworth through there, and a couple of guys just struggling towards the end of this race. Bell has also cleared Johnson. Gary Clarble is back into the pits, but Friedman still putting the pressure on O'Reilly at the front, and McGowan's lost out to Clouden. So
Riley just clipped the back of a back marker. That was Wheel, was it? Just clipped the back of him and knocked him out of the way. And is this given Friedman? I don't see any damage on O'Reilly's car, but that could have been disastrous moment, that.
It could have been indeed, and this is the problem with this circuit. It's tight, twisty, and a couple of guys a little bit slower. Obviously, this is mixed categories. It's not just pro category. It's pro and pro-am in this one race. And now they're catching a BMW that's got a little bit of damage to the front end. Meanwhile, Aberdeen looked like he had the run on Fernie, but he's fallen back behind. As has Unsworth, he's lost out against to Gadsby. So there's this fight going on as well. But we go back to O'Reilly and Friedman. They've cleared the BMW. And they've only still got 12 minutes to go, and O'Reilly's made a mistake. Friedman looking to the outside.
Yes, he is, but he's on the outside, and O'Reilly's got the inside line as they come back into the last corner before the straight. Friedman tries to tuck to the inside.
He did this to Tordock earlier, but it hasn't worked. O'Reilly's awake. He's too smart for that, and he's going to have to try and go the long way around. And Friedman trying to do every touring car line he can think of, but O'Reilly defending for his life. He's got possibly a little bit too deep there, and Friedman up the inside towards Crane Hill Bend and towards Druids.
O'Reilly seems to have a very wide line, and it looks like Friedman's going to get the job done. O'Reilly makes a switchback, but he was a little bit late or a little bit early on it and caught the curb. Didn't give him the traction that he wanted. So can O'Reilly come back at him?
Well, we know the straight line of the McLaren is very, very mighty. Yes, my brakes are shot. Tried to race, but no good. And we'll be back soon with new gear, says Gary Clarble in the chat. Such a shame there for you, Clarble. But here comes the McLaren of O'Reilly. It's very good in the straight line. Look at it go.
Gotta love a McLaren.
He's looking to the outside, and I think he's going to be hard done there because the Porsche... Oh, is he? He's alongside, though.
He's alongside, but he hasn't got quite enough just to go all the way around the outside.
He has.
It's looking like it. Oh, and he comes back across.
What a move!
Takes it. O'Reilly back in the lead over Freeman. That was power. That was about power and commitment.
Indeed, and O'Reilly's had a slide.
He has indeed. So this gives Friedman again, where he kind of set this up the last lap. He set it up to the outside before they go into the last corner. Tries to tuck back to the inside, get the traction, get on the power.
He's got the run.
He's down the inside. He's down the inside, pushes out O'Reilly. O'Reilly is forced to go round the outside as they come into the first corner and onto Paddock Hill Bend. O'Reilly has taken that one wide, dropped back into the apex, got into the slip. He's going to have a go up the inside, Dan. He's going to have a go. Not quite close enough.
Friedman tried to be later on the brakes, but he has gone very wide. He's into the marbles, and O'Reilly's going to look up the inside again, but because of the traction from the Porsche, he's able to just get a better exit, and O'Reilly once again has to use that straight line advantage down the back straight. This is awesome racing, as Chris says in the chat. Hibbs has spun, and that's allowed a few of the guys up, including Rook, Leach, and a few others as well. There is Hibbs.
Side by side they are.
Matthew Duffin's dropped down to 11th as well, as we go back to the leaders, as O'Reilly and Friedman go side by side once again, and O'Reilly with the straight line advantage of the McLaren. He should be able to get the job done, hopefully going in turn. Yes, he has. Meanwhile, Kelly, while this is all going on, Tardock is catching them. Oh, O'Reilly and Friedman nearly coming together because trying to clear Andrews.
Yes, they were trying to go side by side. Andrew's in there as well.
Here comes Tardok.
How far away is Tardok? He's 5 seconds back.
The start of this lap, the gap was 8.9. Now it's 5.7.
Why Friedman and O'Reilly trip over themselves, this is giving Tardok the chance to bring that gap back, and let's hope it continues all the way to the end. Oh, Friedman's gone. Oh, that was a catch. That was a catch. Tokyo drift there as Friedman put a wheel on the grass, just got the back end a bit squirrely, but he collected it all back together, regroups and goes again.
There's Tardok, 4.9 now is the gap. Now O'Reilly possibly trying to get himself in a little bit of a groove. Meanwhile, McGowan is on the back of Jamal Clouden. They're trying to catch Stilth, who's had a bit of a lull this part of the race, and Hubert's kind of in no man's land at this race, so he's got a solid points there for the team. And Gary Leach ahead of Rook and also Hibbs and Duffin. And Duffin, I think, got a bit of damage to the front end of his car. He's got to stay ahead of Fernie, who's got Skunky breathing down his neck. The man who used to be mighty in the Ginetta seems to be struggling in the Mercedes-Benz, but obviously bad qualifying probably didn't help him out as he tries to get a good run on the back of Fernie as they head down towards turn number 1.
Yes, indeed, and O'Reilly does seem to be back in the groove a little bit, and that's one of the tricks of being a race car driver, isn't it? And getting your head back right and getting back into a groove, keeping Friedman behind, keeping the gap, not making mistakes, hitting your braking points properly, not going wide, all that kind of stuff, and it takes mindset to do that.
It does indeed. Meanwhile, let's have a look at the overall running order with 7.5 minutes to go. It is O'Reilly still leading from Friedman. Third is Tardok trying to catch him. Hubert in 4th. Silth in 5th. Clouden in 6th place position with McGowan behind him in 7th. Gary Leach in that 8th place position with Rook in 9th. 10th is Hibbs, and rounding off the top 10. Duffin just outside the top 10 in 11th with Fernie in 12th. Skunky 13th. Gadsby in 14th with Unsworth in 15th. Barclock in 16th place position with Taylor 17th, Wright in 18th, Ramsell in that 19th place position. Rounding off to 20 is Johnson, and then we got Smith in 21st, Aberdeen in 22nd, ahead of Bell and Cummings in 23rd and 4th, Vesby in 25th. He's gone off and had a massive moment as Myers is in from 26th, Tipping 27th, Betterson in 28th, Wheel 29th, Marsden in 30th, O'Brien returning back to the pits 5 laps to go in 31st, Andrews in 32nd, Clarble in 33rd and retire, and Millington back in 34th position.
The leaders are now coming up behind a scrap, which is Darren Bell and Aberdeen in whatever positions they're in, but they're scrapping quite hard as the leaders are now coming up behind them to lap them in probably half a lap's time.
By the end of the lap, I reckon, because these two are racing hard. Aberdeen trying to hold on to that 22nd position with Bell right behind him, and just look at the two behind. They're pretty much drafting one another and eventually catching the two in front. I believe Bell will have to jump out. Whoa, Bell's had a big snap there, and he managed to collect it, and here comes O'Reilly and Friedman, and just as these two get back into a groove, Tardok can't catch him.
Yeah, Tardok's kind of stabilised at about 5 seconds behind, but is this battle in front going to giving him advantage? Is this going to slow the leaders down? Is Bell aware that these are the leaders? He'll know that they're the leaders. How much is he going to worry about it?
Well, 3 blue flags that they see is then they should really get out of the way. So 3 corners as such. So Bell now, he's going to be focusing on the car in front, but he needs to get out of the leader's way pretty soon. If not now, would be the best time to do it. And he moves to one side.
Which he did.
Or does he? Because he's still foot to the floor.
Yeah.
And he finally does it in an awkward way.
Oh, yeah, that was difficult for the leaders. I mean, that's put Friedman right on the outside and still there.
He is still there.
He hasn't let Friedman through.
What Bell should have done there was allow the leaders through and use them to clear Aberdeen. Use the leaders to clear the cars. Yeah. And Aberdeen now, is he going to be just as a nuisance as Bell, or is he going to be a little bit more compliant as Friedman? Now finally clears Bell, but Aberdeen gets right out of the way straight away, and that's going to allow O'Reilly through, and Friedman has lost that time.
Yes, he has. That was really unfortunate for Friedman. As Aberdeen is again gonna move. Is he going to move out of the way? And he's going to be right in the first corner as Friedman comes through. It hasn't worked out for Friedman at all. Not well at all.
No, it has not. Aberdeen does.
The lights.
Yeah, he gets out of the way. Again, some of these GT4 lappers are not really making life easy for some of these guys, as Tordok has brought the gap down to 3.5 to Will Friedman. But that has obviously not worked out, as Unsworth is now in the pits again. What damage has he got? He's in the pit lane. Gary Leach is coming to the pits as well. Has he not put enough fuel in?
Oh, that's a classic Gary Leach if he hasn't.
It would be indeed. That gap, though, between O'Reilly and Friedman is coming back down once again. I feel Friedman has got the pace, but because of the straight line of that McLaren, it just keeps O'Reilly at that advantage, especially down this back straight.
I think you're exactly right, Dan. I do think ultimately Friedman has got probably the slightly better pace, overall pace, but Riley's got the power.
He has indeed. Meanwhile, McGowan and Clouden are hunting down Silt, who's struggling in the Ginetta at this stage. And Ben Rook, sadly, nowhere near them at this minute. And they're going to have to fight hard towards the end of this race. We've got less than 3 minutes of this race to go. I have to come to you for a driver of the day later on, Kelly, and a quick rundown. And obviously, we'll talk about Spa and the season to come. Obviously, one other thing I have forgot to mention, we will be doing a charity event towards the end of this season. We will be doing a 24 hours of the Nürburgring for the fight against cancer. Obviously, Paul Williams, one of our drivers, one of the FBR crew. Sadly, some of his family members have become a part of the horrible victimism of cancer, and as a community of Simplay and FBR, we're coming together and looking to do a 24 hours of the Nordschleife for our challenge against the track, as they fight their challenge against cancer themselves. So please, guys, the dates will be put up as soon as I possibly can sort that out. I believe it's set towards the bank holiday of May, and that is definitely an event to get involved. So please, teams, drivers, get together, because it's going to be a great cause, and we could try and better ourselves last time, the last charity event we did.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're unaware, it's a bit of a Simplay legend.
Oh no! Sorry.
What?
Kieran O'Reilly's drive-through penalty.
Oh no, Kieran, you have just ruined my driver of the day person. That's so frustrating, that really is. What can you say? A minute and a half away from the end of the race, and he's got to serve a drive-through.
Luckily, it is a short pit lane, but it is gone. The race win has gone, and Friedman will lead this race now and will take the win of the race. Obviously, don't drop it. Where's he going to drop? O'Reilly, though. Hubert is now coming through. I think Sylph and Clouden might be close to him here. McGowan, I don't know. So we'll see where O'Reilly gets dropped. He's now into the final part of the pit lane. He's about to get released. Here comes Clouden and Sylph, and they've cleared him.
Close. Yeah, they have. And McGowan's going to have a
pop.
Not quite had a run at him. That's devastating. What a devastating end to that race. But just to go back to what we were saying about the charity 24-hour planned again for cancer. We did it once before, raised over £1,000 for charity. It's no easy feat. The Nordschleife on Project Cars was difficult. On here, it's even more difficult. It will be a real challenge for anybody who gets involved. But we'd love to get you all involved as drivers, as spectators, whatever, doing our bit for what is a great cause. And we'll talk more about it. You're going to hear a lot about it all season. And you know, we would love you to be there.
We would indeed. But as we come to the end of...
Sorry, Millington sat on the track in the wrong direction. He's had a spin.
He has indeed, but we move on to this man, your race winner by default. Obviously, O'Reilly giving himself that drive-through, but it is Will Friedman who takes the second win here tonight. A great drive from him. Tordock is going to come home in second place. With those fresh tyres, it ended up helping him out to get to second in the end. Hubert is going to make it a 2-3 for the MSA Racing duo. Podium position for himself.
They're still scrapping at the end. Yeah.
Still just hangs in there ahead of Clouden and O'Reilly, with McGowan in that 7th place position, and Rook now just holding on to that 8th place position. For him, he's going to come home just ahead of Hibbs, who's also had a bit of a dramatic night. For those two, they come to the line. Rook takes the 8th place, Hibbs in 9th. Duffin is going to come home in that 10th place position. Top 10 for him in the end. Not sure who dropped out. Oh, Leach did. So Duffin in the top 10. Fernie is going to finish in 11th place position, with Gasby in that 12th place. Skunky probably the night forget. Obviously, I believe drop scores are in effect as well. So a night that he'll forget. Back? I believe so, for the GT4s.
All right.
So
okay.
Yeah, so a night for Skunky to forget. Barclock is going to finish in 14th, with Wright in 15th. Taylor is going to finish in 16th, with Johnson just ahead of Leach in 17th and 18th. Ramsell 19th, Bell in 20th, Smith in 21st, with Aberdeen 22nd, Cummins 23rd, Tipping 24th, Besson in 25th, Myers in that... I've lost him now things updated. Myers in 26th position, Wheel 27th, Bestie in 28th, Marsden in 29th, Unsworth in 30th, Andrews 31st, Millington 32nd, O'Brien 33rd, and Gary Clarble in 34th. Normally I would go into the Discord and do an interview with the drivers, but I will have to figure all that out next week, because I haven't had time to figure all that out. But Kelly, I'll come to you for a quick rundown of the night's racing and your driver of the day.
Yes. I mean, there's been some great racing this evening. That first race was excellent. As I said, I do believe that it's going to be Friedman and O'Reilly as a scrap for the season, all things being equal, like you said. My driver of the day, I must have an honourable mention to, I thought Clouden did a great job from that far back to end up 5th place, and an absolutely stunning introduction to the likes of Tardock and Hubert were both, new drivers, certainly to me, and they did really well. But my driver of the day, even though he dropped it at the end, dropped the ball as it were, is going to be Kieran O'Reilly.
Oh, well done to Kieran O'Reilly for Kelly Davis for driver of the day from him. I'll quickly do a poll up. But also, just on your screen right now is the 24 hours of the Nürburgring special event, the 3rd of May. Doing it for Cancer Research and Just Giving as well. And Team FBR, we've partnered with Simplay Motorsport. Make sure you be a part of that, because it is for a great cause. And it's not, if you're not doing it just for the reasoning, then obviously give it for the challenge as well. So please keep your eye on all the information's there. For me, Kelly, though, a driver of the day, I think, has to go to Tordock. I think he was the man to beat tonight. Strategy didn't quite work his way earlier on, but he finished in second, fastest lap. He looked very good overall, but nonetheless, it's been a great night's worth of racing. And next up is Spa.
Yeah, the classic that is Spa. That'll bring some great racing. Always does. Certainly one of my all-time favourite tracks. As a racetrack, not just to drive. So that'll be something to look forward to. But Dan, this is just the start of this week.
It is indeed, and just to start, we got the Pro-Ams tomorrow night. We will be having a Lexi doing the Pro-Am Championship, but sadly, due to internet issues, she won't be able to do the commentary tomorrow, so I believe it's possibly going to be myself and Matthew Duffin in the commentary box, maybe just Matthew, depending on what I'm able to do tomorrow. But they'll be in your comms box tomorrow night, and the pros, obviously, will be back with yourself, Kelly, and the first time back commentating on the pros.
First time back commentating on the pros. First time that Team Audio Sport is back in the pro league as well for a long, long time. Really looking forward to that. Sweet and Sticky back in your box. If you don't know the Sweet and Sticky thing, you'll hear about it from me and Matt. Very much looking forward to teaming back up with Matt for this year's racing. And I think the racing is going to be just as much fun as the commentary.
It should be indeed probably our hardest pro category we've ever had. Just a quick chat as well.
Well, good luck for you. I was going to say, you as the defending 10 times champion or whatever you are now, it's going to be difficult for you, isn't it?
It is indeed. Gone out the Lexus and in the Porsche I go. So we'll see how I get on. But more importantly, on the screen right now is the Patreon support. If you do want to be a Patreon, it's only £3 a month. You'll reserve a race number. You'll be priority in signing up. So you'll be the first opportunity to get in. And also you'll have track suggestions in the future. But that may change because we have got something planned for next season. You'll also get pre-season promos by asking myself if you want season promos made. And also your social media and also your streams will be automatically posted in the driver streams as well.
And you get our respect.
And our respect, and yep. That one as well.
Absolutely.
Kelly, in one word, sum up tonight's racing. Awesome. And I'm going to go with chaotic, but that is classic GT4 racing. Thank you to Brands for hosting the GT4 start of the season, but you're not done yet. We head to Pro-Am and Pro on a Wednesday and Thursday. We are done here. And once again, massive thank you to our sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport. All their information is in the description below. Then head over down there, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And we shall see you tomorrow night for the Pro-Am action. For myself and everyone here at Simplay Motorsport, it is good night.
Good night.
And we are